Hi, my name is Sister Michelle Marie. I'm a second year novice with the Franciscan Sisters of Christian Charity here in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. Um, I thought I might start with a passage from Scripture from the Gospel of John. And this is when Jesus' followers are asking him, what must we do to do the works of God? And so Jesus says to them, "This is the work of God, that you believe in him who he has sent." So they said to him, "Then what sign do you do, that we may see and believe you? What work do you perform? Our fathers ate manna in the wilderness, as it is written, He gave them bread from heaven to eat." And Jesus said to them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, it was not Moses who gave you the bread from heaven. My Father gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is that which comes down from heaven, and gives life to the world." They said to him, "Lord, give us this bread always." Jesus said to them, "I am the bread of life." Recently, for our summer formation program, we were focused on humility, the virtue of humility, and just how powerful the virtue of humility is. It seems like an oxymoron, the power of humility. Um, but humility and poverty are very much linked. They go hand in hand. If you are poor, you can be humble. Humility opens you up to all the other virtues. You have to first be humble before you can master or um, grow in the other virtues. And you also think of the humility of God, of course, through the incarnation, coming as a baby, completely helpless, taking on human nature, both fully human and divine. But just the lowliness of that, the humility in that, to come as a baby, completely helpless at the mercy of his mother, Mary, faithful and humble um, and you also think of Christ as an adult, accepting the Father's will and dying on the cross for us in service of others for our salvation, and just how he didn't think of his own will. He was here to do the will of his Father, completely humble, um, who is the Son of God, but still to make himself that humble to do that for us. And you, of course, think of the Eucharist and to come as humble bread, the bread of life, to nourish us and strengthen us to do the Father's will. And just what an example that is, and if we truly want to follow Christ and live his example, you have to embrace humility. And I think of, the witnesses of humility that I had in my life or that I can reflect upon to help me grow in that virtue of humility, which, let's face it, we all need a little more humility. I think of some of my fondest memories were when I was little. I was a kid and I would visit my nana and tata, my grandma and grandpa, in Arizona for the summer. Worst time to go to the desert, like in the middle of the summer when it's at its peak. Um, yeah, my nana would wake up at 4 in the morning at least, to make homemade tortillas, and to pack my tata's lunch every day. And his lunch consisted of bean burritos with homemade made with homemade tortillas wrapped in wax paper, which somehow made them even better. I don't remember having meat that much at my Nana and Tata's house, and I always thought, well, why don't they buy meat? But the thing was is that we didn't even need meat. Like the beans and tortillas were everything to us. And also, it went further. Everyone congregated at my Nana and Tata's house. We never knew who would be there exactly throughout the day, but we knew people would stop by, like my cousins, my aunt, my uncles,